from all other places, all other times, and we're going to become centered into just this moment here. This moment, this gathering tonight is such a unique moment in time, such a sacredness, in fact, a special moment. So let's just gently close our eyes and focus on our physical body. The physical body is a wonderful tool for presence. The physical body is in the present moment, and when we close our eyes and we drop our awareness from our head down into our body, our consciousness automatically returns to reality. So just do that. See that your eyes are closed and just gently drop your awareness down into your body, and let's take them right the way down to our feet, and let's check in with our toes. Just check that all your 10 toes are there, and connect with the floor or ground underneath your feet. So you actually feel that sensation underneath your feet. And then you have the sensation of your toes, the arch of the feet, your ankles. And you just check in fully with them and see if there's any tension, any pain, any aches in your feet. And you say, thank you, feet, for doing all the work that you've done today for me. Thank you for getting me out of bed this morning and doing all the chores that we have to do as a human body. The feet have carried you everywhere today. So just rest your awareness for a moment in your feet, in a state of presence and gratitude for the work that they have done today. You know, if you break a toe, you really know about it. If you break an ankle, then you really know about it. So just for a moment, just rest your awareness in your feet and be grateful and thankful for the incredible mobility that the feet give you. What a gift it is. Now bring your awareness up your calves, your shins to your knees. They also do an incredible job. So just bless your knees with your presence, with your awareness. Move up your thighs to your hips. If there's any aches or pains, just allow it to be there. Just acknowledge it and then move on. We move up the spine, just acknowledging the spine, any aches, pains, we just allow it to be there. Just bring our attention to it, that's all, then release it. Bring our attention to it and then release it. Right the way up the neck, and bring your awareness right to the crown, to the very top of your head. And drop your awareness over the top of your head to your forehead. Just iron away any worry lines, any wrinkles that you have there. Just let go of any thoughts about the day or yesterday or tomorrow. Just let it go and relax your eyelids even more. Just see that they are becoming heavier and heavier. And drop your awareness into your jaw and relax your jaw. Maybe you like to rest your tongue on, just gently touching the roof of your mouth in front of your top teeth. And take your awareness down your neck, relaxing your shoulders, tops of your arms, your elbows, your wrists, into the palms of your hands. And just relaxing and releasing any tension in your hands, but at the same time acknowledging the incredible gift it is to have hands, the dexterity that it gives us, the ability to touch, to pick up, to write, to type, to put food in your mouth, to wash your body, to dress, to hug. Bring your awareness now to the tip of your nose and just monitor the in-breath and the out-breath. And see if you can pick up the slight temperature difference between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath and the in-breath. Notice the slight pause between the breaths. And now take a very deep breath in. When I say a deep breath, I want you to push your tummy out like a big ball. So you're drawing the air down through the diaphragm right into your torso. Just take a very deep breath in. And then a beautiful, long, releasing sigh out. Just let go of everything that no longer serves you, any aches, pains, thoughts, worries, let it go. Take another very deep breath in, pulling your diaphragm down, blowing your tummy up. Take the air right down to your toes this time, and then that beautiful, long, 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 long sigh out. Just feel how much more relaxed you are with the out breath. Take a third deep breath in, pulling the air this time right down to your toes and up to the top of your head. So you're really filling your whole body up from toes to tip of the head. And then make the out breath twice as long as the in breath. So it's a really long out breath. It's a releasing, a surrendering breath, a letting go breath. Let it all go. And now let life breathe you. This incredible intelligence we have within us that knows how to breathe us and digest our food and beat our hearts. Just hand over the breath to that intelligence. The intelligence that knows how to grow a fingernail, that knows how to repair a wound, that knows how to oxygenate every single one of the billions of cells in your body, every moment of the day, whether you're awake or asleep, to clear out the waste products, to take care of all the metabolic processes. There's no ways with our logical, intelligent minds we could begin to do what this intelligence called life does in our body. Every moment of every day. So just rest your awareness in this intelligence called life that occupies your body, that beats your heart, that digests your food, that breathes you, that enables you to see and listen and hold and hug and walk and talk. Feel this life in your body as it animates every single one of your cells. Become aware of the chair you're sitting on. If you have a backrest, just sink down and back further into your chair. Relax your shoulders. Sink your awareness down into the body. And become aware of everything you can hear in this moment. Without labeling it, just listen very carefully. Notice the faraway sounds, the faint sounds. And notice how much quieter your mind becomes as you listen. For it's the stillness within you that truly listens, not the mind. It's this peaceful place of emptiness that listens. And you are that. You are that awareness. You are that emptiness. You're that infinite ocean of peace inside you that listens right now. Listen even more carefully and see if you can pick up the beating of your heart in your eardrums. Every time your heart beats, it pushes a pressure wave through your eardrums. See if you can hear that. And as you listen, just say to yourself, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. Let's try that again. Say to yourself, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. Let's try that one last time. Say, I wonder what my next thought is going to be, and just sit in stillness and wait for that thought. And notice that you're not the thought, you're the awareness into which the thought arises and the thought passes away. But this awareness is always here. You are this beautiful stillness, the sacred essence of presence. This is who you really are. And it's beautiful. And now from your heart, send an intention, a radiation of love to your loved ones. Bathe them in your peace, in your presence. And now extend this radiance of love to include everyone on this call with us tonight. Just say in your heart, thank you for everyone who's walking on this journey with you. For together we support. For together we build up a vibration of community. There's a shared intention for freedom, for healing. And see if you can actually feel the radiance of love coming back to you from the others on the group. And feel a sense of gratitude and appreciation for yourself, for having the courage to do this journey. Honor yourself, just in this moment. And now take another beautiful, delicious breath in, right the way down to your toes, up to the top of your head, filling your whole body up like a big ball. And then a beautiful sigh out, long, long, long sigh out. And when you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, just see how you feel in this moment. Do you feel any different now to a few minutes ago? Do you feel more centered maybe, more present? Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. It's really lovely to have you with us. And we hope you've enjoyed the week. We've had a little bit of connection on the WhatsApp group. So we'd love to check in with you and see how it went. Inspired Intention. Our first day, or our first chapter was Where's Your Attention? That's usually quite an insight where we realize where our attention actually is at any given moment. So that was the one. And then Exploring Inspired Intention. Then we were talking about shackles and how we feel. So trying to get into a sense of where do we feel limited? Where do we feel free? What's the difference? So we actually become more attuned to our own energy. Discovering the Sankalpa, there were obviously some questions there. And that might still evolve over a period of time. So there's no rush there. And then basically, exploring that deeper. So we'd love to hear any questions, any insights, anything that you'd like to share with us. The floor is open.
And it's interesting, that first part was looking at our attention, where we spend our attention. We're far more careful as to where we spend our money than where we spend our attention. And yet our intention is way more powerful at creating future experiences than the money. So the journey to freedom is a journey into awareness. Awareness is the greatest agent for change. And it's to monitor our awareness, to see where our awareness is going moment to moment. What are we feeding with our conscious attention? What are we feeding? It's a very important part of this journey, is to become more aware of where we are choosing to spend our awareness, to focus our awareness.
And to almost be playfully aware of it. So you don't judge yourself. You just realize, wow, I've just gone on a whole journey away from now. My attention's just gone. All of it, 80% of it just went into something that's not even real.
Yeah.
And it's just to notice that so that you can actually bring it back. Because
Yeah.
we don't know. If we don't know that you don't know that you know,
Yeah.
don't know.
You see, most of you here tonight, and most of us probably as well, don't have a mind. The mind has you. The mind owns you. The mind lives you. And freedom, this is a journey to freedom. Freedom is the freedom to choose your thoughts, to choose the focus of your attention, to choose the choices that you make. When the mind has you, you're not even making the choices in your life. Your mind is making those choices. And where does the mind get the information from to make the choices? It gets it from your history. It gets it from your socialization as a child. It gets it from your parental upbringing. It gets it from your education. It gets it from the media. It gets it from your religion. It gets it from your peers and your friends. And it's not you making the choices. It's all of them making your choices for you. And, you know, if you don't reclaim your power, your future will be a mirror image of your past. Yes, circumstances might change a little bit. Your body will most definitely change. But really, the situation, circumstance that you continually find yourself in will be repeating patterns from the past. So as we become more focused and more aware and more present, so we regain the power over the mind, and the power is to choose, the power of choice, because it's from those choices that we carve our reality. So let's hear from you. How was that? How was that week for you? Did you all manage to do the chapters, the 5 chapters? Or some of you a little bit behind? If you are, that's fine. It's good to catch up, though, to spend a bit of extra time if you are behind. And I think we said this last week, that part of the course that's non-negotiable is the morning meditation. That's really, really important. To set your alarm a little bit early in the morning, to get up, to do your meditation, or you can do it lying in bed. But it's good also to do it sitting upright if you can, and to build a habit. It takes 21 days to create a new habit. If you do the meditation first thing in the morning, it'll pay rich dividends in your life, absolutely guaranteed. So we want to know what your experiences are. Did you enjoy the meditation? Any thoughts, any comments, and any experiences? Because quite often, as you'll find as we work through the following weeks, when we're on a particular week, the universe will give you situations and circumstances and people to help you go into that week a bit deeper. And maybe it didn't happen so much on this week, but it will definitely help in the week, happen in the weeks to follow, that's for sure. So who would like to kick off?
Yes. Don't be shy. You're all going to get
What you can do is raise your
Trevor.
hand or put a comment in the box, by the way.
Trevor. Hi, Trev.
We can't hear you.
Just unmute yourself, Trev.
There we go.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Trevor.
That's it. Okay. I think it was Hugo who mentioned last week about the simplest way. The most I found about this week was that usually I would just do them all up, probably get them all done at once. And I made a point this time of just doing a chapter and leaving it. And if I couldn't answer them, I actually just left it, and very different answers came up when they were ready to come up.
Yes.
So I found that was much more effective way of going through this. There's something a question I'd like to put, and I hope it's applicable to everyone or to this, John and Michelle. One speaks about giving something your extension, it expands, and that is, part of the teaching that and it makes sense, and I think we've all experienced that. And take it away and it dissolves. But we also taught with, I think you've discussed this before, John, but I'd just like you, if you could define it a bit more clearly, in that both when you give something your attention, it expands, but you're also giving something your attention when you have pain, both emotional and physical. You're also giving it your attention. And it may just be a play on words or a way of understanding it differently, because maybe the light of your attention is the point. And I remember discussing this once with Dr. Janey, and if I was correct, it was about giving something your attention in the presence instead of your story, because you're also giving something attention when you are trying to identify it. And, you know, I'm not very good at that, but giving it a shape and a color and an image, and you're giving it your attention. So you're expanding it, not dissolving it. But is it a question maybe of giving your attention from the angle of, or from a different dimension of being in the presence and not the story, trying to understand it, trying to give reason? Can you comment to that? Is my question clear?
Yeah, it's absolutely clear. Trevor, you did answer it very well there in your question. You know, first of all, there's the attention we give to the exterior world. And that really does give an energy in our awareness to that particular aspect that we are paying attention to. And, you know, the first step in freedom is to learn that, you know, we have the power to change our focus. And by changing our focus, we change our internal reality, our consciousness, our awareness. And as we change our internal reality, so we physically alter the external world as well. We change our perception, we change our experience, and paradoxically, we also change physical reality. And we know that from the field of quantum physics. The other situation is when we have physical pain. There's a reality out there, it's a perceptual reality. And that is, I mean, our eyes see 0.05% of the light spectrum. So with our five senses, we're seeing virtually nothing of what the world is out there. And there are infinite possibilities for other perceptions, given the same physical surroundings. When it comes to physical sensations, physical pain, that takes us to a different dimension. So what physical pain does for us, it allows us to bring our awareness into the present moment. Remember I said in the meditation that our body is always present. So when we have physical pain, it is an opportunity, a portal to bring our awareness fully into the present moment. Now, as you said, you can have a story about the pain, what is causing the pain, what could have happened, should have happened, might happen in the future. That's a whole story. We don't give attention to the story. What we do is we just allow the pain to be there. And in the allowing, there's always a lessening. So what we do, and you use the word lightness, we bring the light of awareness onto the pain, but we are not in pain. So what happens is we allow our awareness to hold the pain, to be the holding basket for the pain, but we don't get attached to the pain. We don't get attached to it at all. There's no thought about the pain. There's the awareness of the pain. And the big word here, Trevor, which you know already, is to allow the pain to be there. And that is a big one, because what the mind wants to do is wants to say no. It wants to resist the pain. But whenever we resist pain, it doesn't matter whether it's physical pain or emotional pain. The moment we say no to pain, first of all, we block it from building a dam wall point of view. We don't allow it to flow through us. We create a structure to hold it within us. And secondly, what you resist persists. What you resist grows within you. So instead of being an open river and allowing the pain to flow through you and do the work that it's meant to be doing, to acknowledge that part of your body is hurting, to say, thank you, body, I hear you. I really do hear you. There's nothing I can do in this moment except allow you to be. And where does the word allowing lead us? The word allowing leads us into the dimension of love. Saying no removes us from love. Saying yes takes us into love. And so what we are doing is we are loving the pain to death. Now, it might not be physically possible for that pain to dissipate in that moment, but you will definitely find that the suffering, which normally goes along with the pain, dissipates. So you have the pain now without the suffering. You have the emotional pain, for example, without the suffering. And you just observe the pain in this moment with no story about that. I'm still going to be feeling the pain tomorrow. How many more years am I going to feel the pain for? There's no story. There's just the direct perception of the pain in this moment. That is a portal for transformation. That is a portal for awakening, that pain. And when we see pain in that way, instead of it as being something wrong, if, obviously if there's something one can do physically or emotionally to alleviate the pain, then that needs to be attended to, because pain is obviously a red light on a dashboard normally telling you that something needs to be attended to. But sometimes in the physical condition, there's nothing much we can do about it, except, as I'm suggesting, we allow the pain to be there and we see it as a gift of the divine to bring us more present. We spoke the other night on the other course about having a stroke. And Ram Dass, if any of you know who Ram Dass is, the Richard Alsop, the professor at Harvard, who was only one of 2 professors ever fired from Harvard. And he had a stroke later in life, and he called it my fierce grace. And that stroke, he used that to further his enlightenment process. Instead of saying no to the stroke, he processed it through, this is a gift of the divine to help me transcend my very academic mind.
And he was completely disabled. I mean, he couldn't walk, he couldn't look after himself.
Severely disabled.
He was very disabled.
Yeah. And for a professor, ex-professor, to have, most of your mind removed is very debilitating. But he used it as a tool to his enlightenment. The way we can use pain is, as I suggest, we use it as a focus of attention into the present moment, not saying no to it, just allowing it, because all it is a physical sensation coming from the body into the brain. That's what pain is. And the important part, I believe, Trevor, is not to create any more suffering for yourself or for those around you with whatever pain you're experiencing. So you allow the pain to be there without resisting it, without the story. And it becomes far more bearable. I know there are a few times in my life when I've been in extreme pain. And it's amazing what happens as you allow the pain just to be there with no needing it to go away. That's a big one. That's a huge big one. Because the mind is an organ of need. And it needs things to be other than what they are.
Yeah, the mind's going to tell you it shouldn't be there.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, I know in chronic pain, this is, maybe these words are not that helpful, but this is what I know to be true. And it is a gift, Trevor. I know it doesn't look that way, but it is a gift. And it is something that you're not being punished with. It is a gift from the divine for transformation. The same way you can make a clay cup, and if it doesn't go into the oven, it is completely useless. The first time you try and make a cup of tea and that clay falls apart, the cup falls apart. But by going into the oven and going through that immense transformation process, which you are in the middle of, something new emerges on the other side of that is unknown to the mind before. So that you are in a process of healing and transformation. And the pain is a very necessary part of that. How can I say that? Because it is. Because it is here. If it wasn't necessary, it wouldn't be here. So I don't know if that helps at all, Trevor.
John, that was an excellent answer. It did help. Thank you. Made a lot of things a lot clearer. Just another thing I can add, which might help someone else, is that focusing on the feeling, also to get into presence, because my mind tends to go to the story. And this is more about emotional pain. Maybe the physical pain for me was a lot easier to deal with than the emotional stuff that's happened to me, which is just was unbearable with the lifestyle I was leading. But to focus on the feeling and completely leave the story and just the feeling, yes, it makes it a lot easier to actually dissolve it. It's the story that the mind, I suppose, the ego just clings onto all the time.
Yeah.
And something you mentioned in your meditation, which was a really nice way of seeing it, was you were saying, what is your next thought going to be? Because your mind's always being thoughts and trying to stay in the present and a busy mind. But the approach of, well, what you're going to think about next was I think a very efficient way of seeing it. Thank you. That was a
And
good
Trevor, let
answer.
me just ask you a question there. Were you able to be the space in anticipation of a thought without a thought being there? Were you able to open up that gap?
I think it needs practice like everything else, but I did feel a little bit of what you said, and then a smile comes upon your face instead of an annoyance or an irritation. I think it's quite funny actually, thinking about now what are you going to think about?
Yeah. I mean, the mind generates thoughts, and the thoughts that the mind generates is all resistance. That's really what the mind does. It's a judgmental processing machine. I mean, that's what the mind does. It's what it's made to do. And we can still have those thoughts. We can still have those judgments and those resistances, but we are not it anymore. We are now the awareness into which that resistance comes and the resistance goes. And therefore, it's not affecting us anymore.
Yeah, we don't think it's us.
Yeah.
That's not defining us.
Yeah.
So the pain, the emotion, the feeling, we're watching it. So we're giving out our attention. So we're watching that, as you said so beautifully. We put in the light of attention or light of awareness on it. But as soon as we do that, it's not us. There's a space. There's a little space that comes in. As soon as you say, this is what I'm feeling. So it's like you're viewing it. You're a little bit more objective. It's not who you are. It's not I am sad, I'm feeling sad. Or I'm feeling physical pain. But it's not who I am. That's the little gap.
Yeah. So you're creating space between
Yeah.
the world of form and the formless which you are. And that space is
huge.
awakening. The awakening, people often want to know, what is self-realization? What is awakening? Awakening is the realization that you are the space, not the objects. That's in a nutshell. And that's what we're all doing at the moment. Yeah. So thank you, Trevor. Thank you. And bless you.
Thank you for opening that, Trev. It's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trev.
Had a question there.
Okay, it was Michelle. She hasn't got her audio. She's just giving us some feedback here on the meditations and the Sankalpa. Thank you, Michelle. That's awesome. Be nice to chat to you. So if you can get your audio fixed, that'll be great because it's lovely and interactive. Who else would like to chat? Okay, Sonia.
Wonderful, thank you. I
Hello.
have a follow-up. Hi, how's it,
Hi,
everyone?
Cynthia.
Good to see you all in person and not just on the chat. Yeah, I had a follow-up question to Trevor, perhaps, if that's possible.
Please.
So, John, you were talking about physical pain in the last 2 years. Sure, I've been struggling so much with headaches. It's been like, it's changed my life. I quit my job, and it's getting a lot better. But sometimes with headaches, it's like when they start, if you take medication, then they go away. But if you don't take medication, I've tried it many times to just be with it and be with it. But the more I be with it, the bigger it gets and the bigger it gets and the bigger it gets. So like sometimes it's pretty, I don't know, it's like almost like your attention, like Trevor was saying, feeds the thing.
Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, I like what you're saying, and I want to be able to understand it because I guess I've tried a version of it, but unsuccessfully, or it feels unsuccessful because this thing gets so big that then not even medication takes it away anymore, you know?
So let me just share my personal experience. Headaches are terrible, and I have always been a very headachy person right from a child, and I never knew why. I think it was repressed emotion, definitely. And it was triggered by food as well, but a lot of repressed emotion. And so when I had my own businesses and I was very stressed and very busy with them, I didn't have time for a headache. So I used to take medication. And what worked for me, it wasn't a very heavy medication, but it was Comprel. And so I used to take 10 to 14 Comprel a day. I'd wake up at about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and take my first 3. And they'd work for about 3, 4 hours and I'd take the next 3. And so that's how I went through my day. And yeah, it was wonderful. You know, I managed to conquer the headaches and direct my gut in the process. And eventually one day I thought, no, this is unsustainable. And I then went cold turkey on the Comprel. And I had no idea what was causing the headaches. But when I went cold turkey, I decided to let the headaches just be. Why can't I be in pain? Why should I not be in pain? You know, who said pain is bad? Pain is just pain. And when I took that approach to it, and I just allowed the pain to be, and one thing I found very helpful at the time was to have that glass of water without putting the 3 Comprel in my mouth. And just the act of drinking the water would lessen the pain from the placebo effect, because if you know much about the placebo effect, they've done many trials on the brain where they give someone who's on heavy pain medication, they give them a sugar pill, and they, on a CAT scan, they measure the brain, and the brain activity completely changes as if they had taken the pain pill. So we know the placebo is very, very powerful. But what that did, that extreme pain, I allowed the pain to be there. And what it did, it opened up a level of intelligence in me to find and deal with the actual cause of the headaches, which I couldn't do when I was on the medication.
Yeah.
So it enabled my awareness to sharpen, my listening to my intuitive voice sharpening. And then I found from a physical point of view that there were 2 things physically causing the headache. One was MSG, which I didn't know anything about until I started investigating it. And the other one was caffeine. And caffeine and MSG combined were the physical causes of the headaches. And then the emotional had to be dealt with as well. But I couldn't heal that because I couldn't bring the awareness that I had was clouded by the medication. And it wasn't until I was prepared to face the pain that I was led to the solutions of the headaches. Now, we're all different, Sanjay, and you've got to make your own path. Yeah.
Yeah, I also like to comment because I've also had suffered from huge pain, Sangha, also headaches for most of my adult life. So I can also speak on this. And it can sometimes be part of your journey to actually get you to where you need to be, which I've discovered it has been a very big part of my journey to kind of lead me into a new way of being, because I used to be a very stressed, very busy, very, very busy, high stress person. So that was part of it. It also led me to meet a lot of different people with different outlooks and that. So on that level, it was a very, very definitely an emotional component, and still is. And my experience as well has been over the years to surrender more to it, as John so eloquently said. So the pain comes, and I know exactly what you mean, that it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's very often that it's the thought about it. It's, oh my God, I've got another headache. It's that thought. It's going to get worse. I'm going to have to take something, or I'm not going to be able to cope. And it's those thoughts that you can just have a look at and just bring your attention to it. So in that moment where the headache starts to first form, it's in that moment to surrender by softening and say, okay, I surrender to this moment. Have some water and just surrender a little bit more. And if a headache gets really bad, then you probably need to take something. But what my experience as well was that you take 2 pills and then 2 hours later you have a rebound and you take another 2 pills. And what I realized with mine was that when I started actually really cutting down, I didn't go cold turkey. I started cutting down, and instead of taking 2, I took 1. And instead of taking 1, I took half. I realized that I didn't need the 2 and I didn't need the 1. And eventually I didn't even need the half. So it's as John said, it's very, very different for different people, but it's to just notice that first thought that comes in. there's a headache, and immediately the body tenses, immediately get into that stress thing. Am I never going to get rid of these headaches? They're always going to be with me, whatever that story is. And then see if you can just surrender to this moment, this one, this right now. And see if you can stretch it. So stretch if you are taking pills, stretch them. So yeah, it's a big subject, but it's that very much, it's a teacher. Pain has been a huge teacher in my life, not a very pleasant one, but a very potent one. It is the one thing that brings you into presence. I don't know if that helps, Sanya.
Your guys, that helps so much. My entire course is already worth it. That was really very, very valuable for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And the answers are within you. You know, if we open ourselves up to that quiet little space within us, it's amazing. It doesn't come in words. It's not like someone talking inside of you telling you, that's not your voice. I mean, that's not your inner voice. That's your egoic mind. But there's just a knowingness, it's just a moving in the right direction, meeting the right people, hearing the right conversations, you know, and then the healing takes place.
A little something here and a little something there, little by little. Hey?
And you know, the root of most headaches is, as we mentioned, it's suppressed emotion. And we will look at a lot of that in weeks to come. A couple of the weeks, yeah, we do look at that.
And what I'm also just going to add there is just bring gentle awareness to it. Yeah. Gentle, soft. gentle, soft, loving thoughts. Oh, there's a bit of pain there. Okay, can I just be gentle with myself? As opposed to, oh, damn headache. That feeling. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. And also the thought that the pain is wrong.
Yeah,
emotional pain is wrong. The pain is not wrong. Pain is not wrong or right. It's just sensations. That's all it is. But the moment we judge it, that's when the suffering starts.
And simple things like water and breathing are amazing.
Yeah.
Like having a glass of water rather than a glass of water with a pill. It's amazing. It's so many times I realized, oh my goodness, it's actually gone. I needed the water.
Yeah.
Or I needed to breathe more. Yeah. So needed to relax my body more because we hold our bodies in tension. So that exercise with the attention was really to see, where is my attention? You know, and that exercise with the shackles, what am I holding in my body? You know, when somebody says this to me, where do I hold it? How do I react in my body? So it's to bring more attention to that, not so that you're actually making it bigger, so that you're just shining the light, as Trevor said, shining the light of attention on that sensation. It's interesting, when this happens, I get a headache. Or when that happens, or when somebody says something like that to me, my body tenses, or whatever it is. So it's just the more we start to actually get to see what our energy is doing, the more we can actually shift back into awareness. So it's a huge teacher. Thanks, Sanya. It's just gone off there. Who else would like to chat about the week or anything else that's come up for you? Hands up, anybody? Lots of questions. There must be questions. Don't be shy. Any questions about the Sankalpa specifically? Or those feelings of being empowered and disempowered, and how did you deal with that? Was that easy? Was that difficult? The journaling questions, creative exercise, anything come up for anybody there?
Yeah. Yes, can I speak? I know you can't see me.
Yes,
surely. I can't really see myself either. What I found interesting is that before I started this course 2 weeks ago, I was very, very, very stressed in my head, and things were just driving me nuts. I was actually irritating myself. Have you ever experienced that, where you irritate yourself because you know you're being stupid to feel the way that you do? And as we were doing the, what is it when we go through what is it we do, John? Centering, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. What do we call it?
Centering.
What do we call it?
Yeah,
centering. The things that we say, the words just gone out of my head. Anyway, I found in the first week, I kept wanting to be over. Come on, man, you know, breathe in, breathe out, breathe here, breathe there. Can't we just do it quicker? Now in the second week, I'm so into it. It's marvelous. And I realize I've shifted in the way I'm thinking. And then I also found something very interesting. For the last 2 years, there have been 5 things that I have wanted to do on a regular basis. And my usual thing is I start it, and then something will happen. I'll get sick or have to go to hospital or something. And then I've lost my. And I looked at these 5 today that I wrote down 2 days ago. And I thought, you know what? It doesn't actually matter whether I do one or any of them or 5 of them, because it actually doesn't change my life. And it was making me unhappy, but I was making myself unhappy because I was, how can I say it, making it hard for myself by saying, no, I have to get this done. It's that old A-type personality coming through, whereas it actually doesn't matter. I looked at it and I thought, it doesn't matter if I do any of this. I'm still going to be breathing. I'm still going to be alive.
Exactly.
So those are my thoughts.
As I
lovely.
said
Thank
earlier,
you,
the
Louise.
awareness is the greatest agent for change. And that's what you are bringing to this, is awareness. And it's so liberating. It's so freeing. And you explained that very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise. Yeah, and I think the more you start to, like you said, that you starting to, that the first week it was a bit irritating because you wanted to get through it. The more you start to actually swing into that middle zone, the more you'll want to go there, because that's the place of peace. So that's why this is a 13-week course and not a 3-week course, because it takes you through that every day, which is why we're saying repeat it, do it often. Do the meditation often, go into presence often, bring pause into your life. Those pauses, those little moments of just right now, right here. What am I feeling? What, breathing, smelling, tasting. Those pauses are incredibly valuable because they start to actually bring you back and starts to, instead of swinging wildly like that, you're actually coming back home more often.
Yeah, that vertical plane may seem a strange place initially and of no value, but gradually you start to value the vertical plane more and more and more, and there'll be less and less attachment to the matrix. And then you start to live your life with the default mode of presence. It makes a huge difference. And I know your mind won't value what I'm saying, and your mind will say, but if I just lived in presence, nothing would be done. Absolutely, everything gets done, and it gets done far more effectively than before. And you start to enjoy life more. But the mind doesn't want you to know that, because the mind wants you to believe that it is in control, that it is so important. It isn't. It's a tool to be used. It's not a master. It's not meant to be your master. And that's just awareness. And we said right in the beginning about valuing presence. As we start to value your focus, your attention, it's yours. And as you start to value that ability to use that, so you start to live from that space, and you start to empower yourself in a totally different way to what you had before. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Louise. Nice to have you with us.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alex, do you want to chat? You've put a question here, and then we'll speak to Georgina after that. So we've seen your question there, Georgina. Alex, hi.
Okay, am I there?
Yes, you're here. Hello.
Hello. So yeah, recently I go into this spasmophilia where I can't breathe, and I've realized that the more I resist it, the worse it gets. But when you can't breathe, it's amazing how you can't breathe, and you, as Sonia was saying earlier, it just gets bigger and bigger. Then the anxiety comes, and I think just relax with this. It's happening for a reason, but it's so disconcerting and so uncomfortable. And I've subsequently discovered that it is emotion, and it normally comes after a very stressful period.
Yeah.
That you've come through, and you think, yay, I got you. And I think it's actually really, really scary, because you just can't breathe.
And Alex, what usually happens? So how long does it last? Does it normally go away on its own? What's the normal pattern?
2019, it lasted 6 months. And so far this year now, it started on Christmas Day.
But now in each sort of episode, is it like a long thing that you can't breathe? Is it,
Yeah. And it gets to a stage where I just end up crying because I'm so exhausted. And it wakes me in the night because I just can't breathe. And so, and apparently it is anxiety. And I just think, well, where from? You know, I mean, we all have stress. Why does this happen? So, and then your mind takes you on, do I have, I don't know, pulmonary?
That's the key there, the mind taking you on a journey about it.
Okay.
That's the key, because the mind's making it into something more.
Yes, okay.
So as opposed to it just being, okay, this is this, whatever this is, it just is, I'm observing this. The mind will take you into a story about it and make it much bigger. And that's what ignites the anxiety. It's almost like anxiety's got its own energy. And the anxiety, it lights the anxiety, it's like a fire. And eventually the anxiety gets so big that feeds into the headache or the not being able to breathe. And it's just a circle. So the breaking of the circle is to see it, notice it, and if you can, surrender to it. Because the resistance is creating the pattern, which is creating it over and over again. And then it's feeding into each other. So you're feeding the fire without even knowing it. And the mind is saying, what's causing this, which is feeding the fire even more because you don't know what's causing it. So that question is not, it's mute. You can't even, you don't know. I don't know what's causing it. So that's just an anxiety-ridden question because you don't have the answer.
Okay.
So to surrender in that, just in each moment, to this breath. So I'm surrendering to this breath. I'm just going to make this breath.
Okay.
In this moment, and see if you can relax completely your body. And I mean, I've never experienced it, so I can only comment from my own perspective, but I can comment on the pain and the anxiety and how that sort of lights a fire and gets bigger. John, what do you suggest?
We're going through a process now of deep healing.
Yeah.
And there are issues deep within our psyche. We don't have to know where they come from.
Yeah.
But there are deep issues now which are coming to the surface. And the way we heal these issues is not by understanding, not by going for talk therapy for 10 years and trying to understand it. I don't really believe that helps that much. But we heal by allowing. So Michelle's advice is very, very good. We heal through allowing. And I'm going to suggest two things for you, because intuitively I feel somehow you need to focus outside of yourself in when those attacks happen. So if you can find some way of focusing outside of yourself, maybe with looking for beauty in the world around you, looking at something that is really, really beautiful, preferably, if you can, something that's not man-made. So if you can find something really beautiful to look at, to immerse yourself in on the outside, be it a beetle or a butterfly or a flower or a leaf, just bring your full awareness into that. That'll bring your awareness, your attention from what is wrong with me here to wow. And there'll be a presence that opens up in you as you commune with that beauty on the outside. Noticing and acknowledging beauty opens us up for love to flow. And lack of breath is a strangling of love. That's really what it is. It's a denial of the magnificence of who we are. We don't feel we're worthy of love because breath is life. And so we don't think we're worthy of this breath. So it's a lack of self-worth. And I'm saying that just intuitively, I feel for you is to look outside yourself, look away from this and look at something really beautiful. It can just be a plant, flower, a tree, a cloud, look at something and immerse yourself sort of in that gratitude of the beauty that you're seeing. That I just feel, and you can let us know, you can WhatsApp us and let us know, I feel that will open your chest. That will open you up. And the other thing I want to say to you is, if you could, I just also get another feeling that what would help is serving in some way. Finding, I don't know what you do, but I would suggest if you could find some way of serving, not to gain anything from it, but just because it's something that your soul would love to do in a certain way. And we'll talk a bit about that as well in the weeks coming up, but it's to serve in a way, it's, in the East, they call it savor, when you just do for the sake of the enjoyment of giving. So I don't know, those are the two things that I get for you. So just try that. And if it makes sense, that's great. If it doesn't make sense, then we can chat a bit more about it.
And practice letting go of the tension you hold in your body, Alex. So like that Sankalpa meditation that Pri gave you, that meditation, or a meditation like that, like a yoga nidra, where you are totally letting go of tension in your body for any kind of pain or any kind of resistant thing. That is really effective, because it's a self-loving thing to do, because you're bringing yourself out of that harshness and into a surrendered, gentle, nurturing place. And if we can hold a space for ourselves in that place, that is where the healing lies. Healing lies in nurturing, in holding a gentle space, not beating ourselves up. And the mind can beat us up. The mind can be very, very brutal.
Thank you. That really makes a lot of sense. Thank you. That's helped a lot.
Thanks,
It's
Alex.
called the breath of life,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say that the breath and life are one and the same. And there's somehow a depriving within yourself of life, and those two things that I suggested will help you reconnect with life
Yes.
once more.
Yes,
Okay, just let us know how it goes. All right.
absolutely. Little by little. Thanks, Alex. Lovely to have you with us. We've got Georgina, and then we've got Hugo. Georgina. There she is. Hello.
Hi everyone. Nice to see you again, John and Michelle, and to meet everyone
you.
on cyberspace.
Good to good to have you here.
Good. Yeah, it's so lovely to be back. I'm sorry I'm sitting in the dark. I'm lying next to a sleeping child. So or sitting next to a sleeping child. John and Michelle, my question was about assessing intentions.
Mhm.
I just wanted to ask you, do you always, I think I put it on the group a few days ago, I often feel that I always need something very dramatic to happen in order to actually get going. And I just wanted to find out how I can eliminate that, because even though I end up with a very positive outcome, I find the beginning extremely stressful because it comes from so much drama. So I just wanted to find out, is there an easier, more peaceful way of setting intentions with a positive outcome?
Yes, do you want to answer?
You can go.
No, I believe there is, but it's an interesting thing that you've noted. It's an interesting thing that you become aware of. So that's the first step in awareness, that you require some kind of drama to get you going. So that's a pattern that you've now become aware of. So now you can see that, and now you can shift that. Whereas if you don't see that, you can't shift it because you don't know it.
Yeah.
So just the awareness that that's what you've done in the past, and you don't wish to do that in the future, is the turning point, so that you don't have to redo that all the time. So it's just,
Okay.
I have new intentions. They arise peacefully. That could be an affirmation of yours.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if that helps. That's my.
Yeah. No, it does. I mean, the fact that I'm just aware of it now is a big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the awareness. Oh, I'm now aware of that. I didn't know I did that. Now I know I did that. I do that, so now I don't have to do that anymore. It clearly
But then
served me for a while, and now it doesn't serve me anymore. I don't like the feeling.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
prefer to do it in a more peaceful way.
Okay. Okay. no, that does answer my question. And also, I feel now like with all the drama that happens, I do then, I am able to easily forgive the people that were involved, because, you know, like it steered me in the right direction. So that was, you know, and I had a very peaceful, happy outcome. But then it makes me think, yeah, do I need that drama? Do I really need that to make all those things happen?
Yeah. And how does it make you feel? And you know, would you rather feel a different way? So that whole shackles exercise will say, you know, would I prefer to feel like this or like that? And then there's always
Yes.
that choice, that moment of choice. Do I want to go into the drama or not? I think it's Byron Katie. She says, you know, always ask, do I want to go to war or not? There's always a choice.
Yeah,
It's that moment of choice. Do I need to
Yeah.
go to war or not? And there's no, you know, either way,
That's a
but
good-
you have a choice.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's also made me
Yes.
become aware of how much I am like my mother.
Mm.
So yeah, which is it's suddenly become like that's been a major awareness for me for this week, was how similar I am to my mum and how I picked up so many of her traits. So,
Yeah.
and that's often how she gets things done, is by stirring up drama and getting the fire stoked. And I think that's also where I've copied that from her, I think.
Yep.
A couple of things, Georgina. You are nothing like your mother, nothing at all. But Georgina is like her mother.
Yeah.
Now, Georgina is the personality. It's the programs that are running in your subconscious mind. When you're not in control, when you're not conscious, Georgina's in control. The programming, your mother's in, you can control the first 6-7 years of our life. Those programs are laid down. Who's with us most in the first 6-7 years of our life? But our mother. So when anything goes wrong in your life, yes, blame your mother. It is your mother's fault because she laid down those programs. But that's not you. You are the awareness. And, you know, what we've been saying tonight, which has come up quite a few times, awareness is the greatest agent for change. And as we become aware of these repeating patterns, we're free of them. It's awareness is freedom. You don't have to understand them. You don't have to work on them. You don't have to strategize. You don't have to have all these counter moves against them. No, you don't. It's just a pure awareness. That's the ease of freedom. It's just the awareness. The moment you are present, your mother's not running your life anymore.
Yeah.
Your patterns aren't running your life anymore. The moment you're present, and that's the gift of the vertical plane.
And
it's
you have
only
choice.
when you are in the horizontal plane that you have no choice. That is the choices of your conditioning that are running your life. And that's number one I want to say to you. Number two is there's a belief shift that might help you, which we do go into in weeks that follow. So we have a belief that, you know, life is completely random, and you expend a lot of energy to make things happen. If it wasn't for me, Mars would have bumped into Saturn a long time ago. The sun would have forgotten to get up in the morning. The tides wouldn't happen. The birds wouldn't come out. You know, I'm responsible for absolutely everything in the universe. That's what the egoic mind tells you, that everything is in your hands and you need to put a lot of effort to making things happen. And that's a very dysfunctional way of living your life, a very stressful way of living your life. And it kills you in the end. The other way of living your life is when you start to see yourself as part of a flow, part of an incredible flow of energy called life. You know, we do run flow workshops where we help you get more into flow, but this 13-week course will help you do that as well. So it's about being in flows, you know, as Abraham, the teaching of the Hickses say, don't paddle your canoe against the tide. Go with the tide. You know, we pick a fight with life. A lot of us pick a fight with life. And I say that if you want to pick a fight with anyone, make quite sure they're smaller than you. Now, life is way bigger than you. So why fight something that's way bigger than you? And as we start to calm down and as we start to trust life more, we start to find that there's an ease to life. You don't have to get up in the morning and battle life. You can actually quietly move through your day and you will find yourself doing enough, that life will support you more than you fighting life. And you find that things get done, magics. You know, Albert Einstein said there are two ways to live your life. One is if nothing is a miracle, and the other one is if everything is a miracle. Now, what is a miracle? But something that happens where you didn't do it. That's a miracle. And Albert Einstein said that's the way he lives his life. And that's the way I live my life as well, not fighting life, but allowing life to happen. And when you trust life in that way, magic happens in your life. So no, you don't have to create drama to get things done. Well, you can. It's a very stressful way of living, and you make yourself unhappy and everyone around you unhappy. And if that's what you want to experience, well, do it, as long as you're doing it consciously. It's when it's unconscious patterns that are creating that's where the problem comes, because we are in a process of becoming more conscious. So that's what this journey is all about.
Yeah.
And we get a choice. Do you want to have a fight with life, or do you want to listen quietly and be guided by the flow of life? When things are meant to happen, they will happen. Absolutely, they'll happen. You don't have to be responsible for the universe, and you're not responsible for the universe.
And again, that's sort of the pattern of that, that reaction thing, the drama to create intention. As soon as you do like a pattern interrupt. So if something like that happens, it's like a cycle. It's like a headache cycle. It keeps going around. And then that feeds something else. And in that same old cycle, you can see it. Yeah, I'm about to go into the same cycle again. This is happening. If you interrupt it by just saying, I don't have to do this. I'm aware. I've put myself into brought myself into presence. In this moment, I have a choice to step back. In this moment, step back from the drama. Go and walk outside, have a cup of tea, come back, and then see. And generally you won't go into the drama, because that's just it's like a fire.
Oh, like a default setting. I feel like it's my default setting.
Yeah, it's like
Can't really.
Exactly. And as soon as you start to disrupt that default, you can change the default. That's you have the power to change the default in any moment. And it comes from presence, because in that moment you have the choice.
Okay. And John and Michelle, can I use my Sankalpa as well when I suddenly feel that things are spiraling out of control?
Yes, I was going to say that. I was going to say, because your Sankalpa is beautiful, that I am acceptance. And I mean, I can feel that it really resonates with you. And I've worked with you a little bit before. So just to absolutely, I'm acceptance.
Yeah.
Acceptance.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a great one. I really feel it's all I've been thinking about lately. It's sort of, and I typed out like the big word acceptance, joy, and enthusiasm, and I stuck them up in my office. And when I'm struggling with anything, it's all in order. It's like acceptance, enthusiasm, and then joy. And then when I'm struggling with something, I look at those three things and I decide, am I feeling any of those things or feelings at the moment? And if not, then I leave the office and I take a 5-minute break and I come back again. And then just through just seeing that word acceptance every day, that's sort of, I feel like where the Sankalpa has come from. I mean, it helped you, the meditation helped enormously, and doing the exercise, but just like seeing that word subconsciously every day, it's sort of like filtrated my brain. And I just feel like immediately I don't have to be in control of everything. And I just have to, it's such a relief just being able to accept everything for exactly how it is.
Really
so
is.
So it's definitely helped enormously. And it was funny because the last time I did the course with you, I struggled so much to find a Sankalpa, and I got so annoyed with myself, and everyone had these amazing ones, and I thought, oh gosh, and then I didn't even, I drifted between, I think 3 different Sankalpas, and then eventually I just forgot them all. And then I didn't even, when things got stressful or overwhelming, I forgot to know what to do, because I hadn't really cemented it in my subconscious or in my heart. It just didn't stick. So, but this one is definitely in there, which is wonderful.
You know that you know that you know. It's a knowing. You just know. You say that word, or you visualize it, or you see, or you feel it. You just know. Oh yeah, this is what brings me home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's immediate, and I feel immediate, like a wave of calm wash over me, and
that's it.
Yeah,
then you know.
Which is great.
That's it, and you need to question it. And the rest of you, it's good that we're talking about that, because if it hasn't arisen yet, don't worry. It will throughout the course. So you'll see it'll actually start to arise if it hasn't already done so.
And
Thanks,
just and one
Georgina.
thing on there, you know,
Everyone's-
we're at a fork in the roads, and I think I've spoken about it before, where we have the one road, which is the same old, which is the road of fear. And then the road that really we're being invited to travel now is the road of love. And don't ask your mind to make that choice, and don't ask your mind to even value love, because it doesn't value love. Love has, you know, doesn't offer you any guarantees, which was what the mind wants. In fact, you know, fear will promise you absolutely everything, and love promises you nothing. But while fear promises you everything, it delivers nothing, and love promises you nothing but delivers everything. And you know, we don't really know what love is, and the words that can lead us down that path of love, or up the path of love, is the three words, and the three words are all starting with the letter A. It's acceptance, allowing, and appreciation. So if you can bring more of that into your awareness, and Sankalpa that incorporates that is really, really helpful, because love is the solution. Whatever the problem, love is the solution, but not the love of the mind, not the love of attachment, not the love of expectation, not the love of getting your needs met, but something totally different. And allowing, accepting, and appreciating are three key signposts which lead us deeper into love, which is what the journey to freedom is really about. So
Yeah, and
hopefully
we'll
that
be
helps.
working with that a lot over
Yeah.
the course. So let this not be a journey of reaching and striving for something, because that's what we live our lives like. We've got to do that so we can get that, so we can get that. Let this be a journey of unfolding, because that's part of the journey to freedom. It's just allowing things to unfold when they're ready to unfold.
Yeah.
So if you battle with something, if you get stuck with something, accept that you're stuck with it. It's okay. Move on. Revisit it later. So take the pressure off in terms of, if you don't know how to answer something, or haven't got your Sankalpa, take the pressure off, it'll come. And you know, we can always help you with it, but let it come. We've got 13 weeks, which is really cool. And you will find those jewels.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Georgina. Hugo.
Good evening, everybody. Is my
Hi.
microphone clear?
Yes. How's it, Hugo?
Fantastic, thank you. So this week, working with the attention stuff, it's probably one of my favorite subjects, because for a very long time, one of the ways by which I sort of live my life is that in my mind, there's exactly two things that I can control. One is what is my attitude towards anything in a given moment?
Yeah.
And the second thing is, what do I choose to direct my attention on? As far as I can tell, there's nothing else that's really within my control. And furthermore, in terms of attention, I have it that whatever I place my attention on, I see it like that is the signal that I put out there to the cosmic, or whatever word you want to use. It's a signal that I put out to, let's say, the cosmic ordering service, and what goes up must come down. So for that reason, I'm usually very vigilant about the extent to which I allow negative stuff to like occupy my mind space. In terms of inspired attention, I was surprised to see that the second week is about inspired intention, because last week one of those arrived for me while I was busy with last week's stuff. Other than that, I had a very sort of chaotic few days leading up to yesterday. There was some things that were shared earlier about anxiety. Now, I think in my case, it's rare that I experience sort of internal anxiety, but what tends to happen is that my external reality tends to turn chaotic if there's, let's say, stuff brewing inside. And from experience, I've learned that when I engage with these sort of programs and courses, there's usually a lot of stuff that comes up for me to look at and work with. So I sort of expect that and, put on the hard hat, metaphorically speaking. But yesterday, there's many sort of stupid little small chaotic things, not having wheels temporarily and buying a generator and it doesn't work, whatever. Lots of little small challenges. But yesterday I reached the point that, okay, enough with the chaos. What's actually going on? What do I need to look at? And yeah, today, what can I say? I've been feeling very centered, very calm, very relaxed. And I'm actually in a place where I am simply reassessing a lot of the commitments that I've made that sort of keeps my life in a certain way. So it's a fun thing to do. I've been having a lot of insights working with the simple exercises. John said something last week that was very profound, or it was the first week he said, if you journal something, and I recall that both of you stressed the importance of doing that. You said, John, that if you journal, you take it out of your mind, and when you put it into the physical universe on paper, it's usually always simpler than it is in the mind. And I found that that's very much the case. I'm not a journal type of guy, but that certainly works. And just something else is in terms of the anxiety that was shared earlier. John, you said sometimes it's a good idea to put your attention on something simple or preferably something natural. There's a particular movie with a scene that depicts that very beautifully. It's called K-Pax. It's a special guy that ends up in an asylum, not because he's crazy, but because he's special. And there's a guy there that's got a very sort of compulsive, obsessive compulsive disorder. And one of the things that he tells them is try to find the bluebird outside. And then what happens after that is a very beautiful thing. So if you haven't seen that movie, it's recommendable.
Great.
And
Yeah,
that's it from me.
Because we get caught up with our stories in our head, and that's why it is important to connect with nature, because the moment we connect with nature in a truly appreciative way, not in a judgmental way, but an appreciative with a direct and I've said earlier, appreciating the beauty, just appreciation of beauty takes you out of the matrix into reality.
Yeah.
And there's a reciprocal exchange of energy. The moment we can really see the beauty in something, particularly something that's nature made, it actually gives us something back, and that is presence. And presence isn't just a point between the past and the future, what the mind tells you it is. It isn't. Presence is the holding creative womb of the universe, and it has infinite power in it. And the more we spend bathed in that potential energy of the universe, the more transformation happens, the more miracles appear, the more peaceful we become, the more intelligent we become, the more open to intuitive ideas we become. That's the importance of the vertical plane. The vertical plane is not just this tiny, as the ego would see, my diagram, the little ego running around the timeline gets this little emptiness, which is now and jumps over and runs off. It sees it as a nothingness point. No, it's not a nothingness point. It's an everything point. It's a no thingness which contains everything your heart yearns for. And as we start to honor that, it grows within our awareness. And there's immense power in that, at transformation, at healing. So yeah, this journey, I think you will start to appreciate and to value presence more and more. And whatever we value, we give more attention to.
And
We spend more time in. Yeah.
And it grows.
And it
The
grows.
presence,
Yeah.
those moments of presence become more and more.
Yeah, and it becomes our default mode of living. Not we don't pay just brief visits to it when we've got a moment. We start to live there.
It is the default.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Hugo,
Hugo,
for sharing that. Yeah,
thank you. Now, anybody else want to share their Sankalpas or anything else? It would be lovely.
Who battled
to
a bit
hear.
with Sankalpa? Who would like to?
Yeah, or got it. We'd love to hear some that did get it, if anybody did. Anybody? No? Still battling with it? What's happening with the
No, I'll
Sankalpa?
share mine.
Yeah,
I am peaceful.
I am peaceful. That's
Beautiful.
beautiful. That's lovely.
Beautiful.
Remind yourself, when you get caught up in the trauma of it, I am peaceful. It's, and I would even take out the full part.
And peace.
Yeah.
It's
I
got
am
like a
peace.
more, yeah.
It feels like the peaceful feels more attainable to me right now. It's like I don't know, there's something I like about that feeling, the peaceful feeling.
Then you keep that. Yeah, then you
Beautiful.
keep that.
It's lovely. Keep saying that if you get a headache.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank
And
you.
Michelle, I'm loved. Beautiful. It's beautiful.
I am loved.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Really nice.
Lovely. How short should it be? What's yours, Oliver? Share with us.
Mine is, I wasn't too clear on just how short it would be. So basically, I came down to, I'm a divine being connected to my true, authentic self. And then I said, I think it was healed and healing, something like that. So it was maybe a little bit long.
Yeah.
But I guess if you say it enough times, you'll still integrate it. But it's maybe a bit long.
Yeah, sort of see it almost like a mantra. So it can be long. There's no rules, Oliver, but possibly just see what happens over the next few days, next few weeks, and see you'll probably make it shorter. Just repeat it again. I am. The first part.
Let me just grab, my journal's actually right here. I wrote it in my journal, but actually during the course of this call, the awareness came to me that my Sankalpa is actually, it's just going to be, I am love.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a story, Sankalpa is not a story.
Yeah.
Sankalpa is an affirmation of what is.
It's a feeling. And I mean, we put it into words, but it's not about the words. It's about the feeling that word or words conjure up when you say it.
Yeah, I wrote down here, I'm a divine being connected to my true authentic self, healed and ready to heal. So my biggest journey was, I don't know if you remember on the last journey, I was very much had conflict with my sort of, relationship, specifically intimate relationship, and how I sort of was making sense of that and things like that. And then now that I actually think about it, my real, or the most important marriage is the marriage to yourself.
Yes.
Before anyone else. It's that marriage to your authentic self. And that's really the journey. And really, if you say I am love, that actually encompasses that, doesn't it? In a really succinct
Absolutely.
way. So maybe that is a good.
You can feel it. And that other one that you've got is a lovely affirmation to say. So you say that affirmation. I mean, I've got one very similar. Say the affirmation, but a Sankalpa is different. It's that feeling. It's that, it just brings you back every time. There's no mind, there's no headiness, it's none of that. It's not a concept. That's why nobody can tell it to you, because it's not a concept. It's something you have to feel yourself. So I would say you're very close there. I think that's it.
A Sankalpa, ultimately, when you distill it, you find it's a statement of the deepest truth that exists already now.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
It's your sacred vow.
Yeah, it might take some time to get there sometimes, because we start out with something that has a lot of time involved. And then eventually, the real Sankalpa has no time at all. It's a pure statement of presence.
And it must be something that will never change. So even, for example, when you're not out there helping people, it's still there. When you're lying on a bed with a headache, it's still there. When you're achieving nothing in the world, it's still there, because it's your essence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And I've actually, the last few days, I've actually been, staying in Clifton in this beautiful oceanfront apartment. And I just realized how much flow and how much peace I was experiencing in my day, because I had the Mother Nature like at my doorstep. You know what I mean? Just like having that fresh air coming into the room, and like that energy was just it was amazing. I just realized I also have such an affinity to water. Something about water.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know you're into astrology, Michelle. Like I'm a cancer and stuff, but
Yeah.
like it's just I've just realized I've always, like, even at the place I stay in Durbanville, I always go and walk to the lake, and when I walk around that lake, it's amazing. It's just, it just shifts my whole day. It brings me back into the present moments, and it helps me to just connect with that stillness.
Really does. It's like an ocean.
Yeah, in the physical realm, water is life.
Yeah.
Water is life.
It is life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks,
Thanks,
Oliver.
Oliver. Beautiful. Thank you for that. We've got a few more here. We've got,
Yeah, pleasure.
thank you, Oliver. We've got Lisa saying, I have acceptance in the now. Lisa, do you want to talk about that? You might
Fine for
shorten
now.
that a little bit, but it's great
Fine
for
for
now.
now.
I am safe. That's beautiful, Vanessa. Michelle says she loved the Sankalpa. I am free, Tamron. Beautiful. That is so beautiful. You can
I am
feel
free.
that. I'm
I'm
free.
free.
How do you feel when you say that, Tam?
Yeah, it's very powerful. And I actually ended up, I had like 3 statements, but if I whittle them all down, now that you guys say you actually need to, I wasn't quite sure as well, like everyone else, you need to have something really short and succinct. I think, all of them started with I'm free, blah, 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 blah. And actually it just needs to be I'm free. And it's kind of, wow, okay,
Yeah.
that'll work.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, beautiful.
The Sandkalpa will always lead you into the vertical plane. And if you look at the
Always.
diagram on the vertical plane, it always leads you there. And it's simple. It's simple. Very, very simple.
There's no mind associated with it.
Yeah.
There's no stories.
No
There's
story.
no have tos. There's no expectations. There's no if I can do that, then I'm that. No, it's who you are.
Yeah.
It's your essence.
Yeah.
It's a realization of what already is.
Yeah. It's a little bit different from an
Yeah,
affirmation because you can say an affirmation over and over and it can become a reality. So I'm a divine being of light, giving my light to the world. That's beautiful. So that'll help you actually manifest that. But the Sankalpa is more, it's in the present now. It is who you are.
Yeah.
You can never not be that.
Mm.
It's just an acknowledgement.
It's still kind of taking my breath away, just this whole presence stuff. I was totally unaware of it, and it's amazing. Very cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. I think we've
Wonderful.
reached the end of the evening. So we have a new week opening up for you in the morning. We're going to look a little bit deeper about
Who we are.
who are you? Who are you? And we've given you quite a few pointers already, but let's go through the 5 chapters and let's just see where they lead us. And we look forward to catching up with you next week. Do the meditations, do the affirmations, and do the journaling. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Lovely. Do you
So
want to
I'll
just lead us?
we've got a minute.
quickly?
We're on time, but
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So let's just center ourselves in the moment. So deep breath in. And on the out breath, just release any tension, any pressure from your body. Just let any resistance just fall away. Let any tightness melt away on each out breath. And as if you were a little feather landing very gently on a quiet pool of water, just allow yourself to land quietly, gently, softly in this moment, this precious moment. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, just you in presence. Feel yourself softening into that, into this moment. Feel the peace that comes with that. Notice your breathing, not changing it. Notice the sounds you can hear. And just notice how you feel in this moment. Breath in and releasing breath out. And you can open your eyes.
It was beautiful.
Quick.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you all for joining us tonight. It was a really lovely evening.
evening.
We enjoyed it. Love you lots, and we look forward to catching up with you next Thursday.
Thank you, everybody. You're awesome. It's wonderful having you with
Thank
us.
you. Hi, Matt, and
Thank
cheers,
you. Thank
Matt.
you.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Shirley.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Katja, Cecilia, all of you. Thank you. Awesome.